From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
It puts a great burden on our hospitals, puts a great burden on healthcare providers, puts a huge burden on the public health system.
A dire plea tonight from the Yellowstone County Health Officer urging the community to get vaccinated. This comes after October ranks as the worst month yet to strike the county. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, those October numbers, 55 total deaths, more than 300 new hospitalizations, and nearly 4,600 new cases. All single-month records since the pandemic began. But some good news tonight, as the COVID-19 vaccine is now available to children ages 5 through 11. Q2's Mitch Slade has details on that and possible clinics to get your kids immunized.
On the heels of the worst month ever for Yellowstone County COVID cases, parents in Billings are excited that their children ages 5 to 11 can now get a vaccine.
I'm glad. I think it'll give kids and families an opportunity to just be a little more relaxed.
Stephanie Alexish is a Billings mother of 7-year-old twins at McKinley Elementary. She said she'll have her kids vaccinated to protect their elderly grandparents.
But I'm the only person that takes care of them, so it's huge. Like, I kept the kids out of school last year because I didn't want to bring COVID home to my mom.
Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton urged vaccinations in the community at a Wednesday press conference. So far, no Yellowstone County kids age 19 and under have died from COVID. And Felton said they typically see less severe symptoms from the disease, but kids can still spread the virus to others.
The more of those children that get vaccinated, the safer it will be for not only their family members, but also for their teachers and other school staff that are necessary to keep our schools open.
About 55% of the Yellowstone County population is fully vaccinated, according to the state's tracking map.
I worry about it sometimes, and then other times I don't.
Oliver Tudor is a student at McKinley Elementary. While he sometimes worries about COVID, he said he's not very nervous to get the shot.
I mean, sort of. I'm pretty nervous in every shot and vaccine. But I think if it's for the good, then I think it's not that nervousing for me, or whatever the word is.
Doses for kids age 5 to 11 contains about 1/3 the vaccine that adults receive. The 2 doses are administered 3 weeks apart. So far, none of those doses have arrived in Billings, but they're on their way. Eventually, parents will be able to get their kids vaccinated at their family pediatrician. As well, the health department has scheduled kids' vaccine clinics to happen at 2 upcoming Saturdays on November 13th and 20th. They're not yet taking appointments for those kids' clinics at Cedar Hall on the Metro Park campus because of the unknown number of doses. To see all upcoming Yellowstone County vaccine clinics for kids and adults, go online to covid.riverstonehealth.org. In Billings, Mitch Slade, MTN News.
Billings School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham says the availability of the vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds could lead to the end of the district's mask mandate. But he says it's not going to happen overnight. Now, Upham says the number of students testing positive in the district hovers around 100, and that is steadily higher than the highest number of last year, which was 88. He hopes people will take advantage of the family-friendly clinics at the Metro and will closely monitor what happens now that younger children can receive the vaccine.
I think after these families of 5 to 11-year-olds have the opportunity to get vaccinated, then that provides a question for all of us. Do we continue with masking? Do we lift the masking? I think we look at the other metrics that are attached to that, the hospital capacity, the infection rates, how many cases we had. But I think once it runs its course, the vaccination, I think as a society, we have to look and say, this is it. I mean, this is where we are, and this is where we have to move forward and live with it.
Upham says he is hopeful that the mask mandate will end before the end of the school year. Well, howdy doody. Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh joining us now. There is something to look for in the sky, Ed.
That's right. The first of actually 3 meteor showers that we're going to see during the month of November. The best viewing, at least in terms of the number of meteors, might be tomorrow night as we start looking Thursday night into Friday. But with the sky starting to cloud up, maybe tonight's a good bet for you. Make sure that you just look towards the darkest part of the sky. We always tell you don't need to bother with the telescope. Just find a comfortable place to be able to observe. There aren't going to be that many in the sky, maybe about 5 per hour, but this particular meteor shower is known for its particularly bright meteors. Also, if you just want to look a little earlier in the evening, Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus will be visible right about the time the sun is setting. We'll come back and take a look at the forecast in just a few minutes.
3 men killed when their vehicle pulled a U-turn in front of a semi-tractor trailer on Monday on I-90 have now been identified. Yellowstone County Assistant Coroner Deputy Rich Hoffman tells Q2 38-year-old Joshua Orcutt was driving the Chevy Suburban. He, 40-year-old Nicholas Turner, and 44-year-old Alan Winslow Jr. were all killed on impact. Now, Deputy Hoffman says all 3 men were living in Laurel at the time. It happened just after noon on Monday in the westbound lanes between the South 27th Street and the South Billings Boulevard exits. The 3 men were not wearing seat belts, and drugs and alcohol are suspected factors in that crash. Now, the 3 were apparently stopping to check on an abandoned vehicle on the side of the road when the Suburban pulled a U-turn right in front of the semi. The semi driver was not injured.
Airports and airlines are gearing up for a busy holiday season, but they're still dealing with a shortage of pilots, flight attendants, and TSA agents. I'm here at the Billings Doubletree, where TSA held a mass recruiting event to help fill in those much-needed spots.
Patience is the key word this holiday season as airlines across the nation work to hire more pilots and TSA agents.
It's all due to the beginning of COVID and the airlines, people not flying, so the airlines were trying to reduce the number of pilots in order to save money.
Airlines are struggling to keep up with the increased demand for travel, especially during a pandemic.
I know when I came here 2 weeks ago that Delta had staffing shortages, and it took almost an hour to get the bags.
And the problems are even worse once you leave Montana.
They have encountered those elsewhere around the country at some of the larger airports.
American Airlines has canceled more than 2,000 flights over the past several days. A few weeks ago, it was Southwest.
Some are having more problems than others, but trying to get as many pilots, probably trying to entice them rehires and just looking at different options.
And TSA is dealing with its own staffing problems. Many agents are quitting because of vaccine requirements. One reason, the agency held this mass recruiting event in Billings this afternoon.
We're always trying to hire. I think we're okay now, but we're hiring in preparation for the holidays coming up, and of course next summer. The summers are very busy in Montana.
And with the holidays coming up, airlines and TSA have been proactive in making sure travelers aren't affected. But passengers like Bev Durgan know that's just part of traveling in today's COVID world.
If you're expecting things to go as smoothly as maybe they used to, it's just not going to happen. You just have to have patience because there's really nothing else you can do.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Well, not only are there 2 chances to become a millionaire in this year's Montana Millionaire Raffle drawing, you'd better move quick if you plan to purchase a ticket or 2. The raffle started Monday, November 1st, and as of news time, more than 95,000 tickets had already sold. That's more than 40% sold in just 3 days. So what are the bets in the office of the day that you're going to sell out of the 250,000 tickets?
Well, I mean, we don't know how to approach this either. Not even our mathematicians know exactly what to do right now. But one thing that we're all sure of, there's not going to be very many Thanksgiving leftovers in the Montana Millionaire game. It's probably going to go before Thanksgiving.
And tonight at 10, we'll check in on the latest numbers, hear more about this year's prizes, and show you how the odds are even better in 2021. Still to come on your MTN 530 News on Q2, a new candidate enters the congressional race and the committee gets closer to making a final decision. We'll break it down. And in sports, a Red Lodge lineman saw his high school career come to an end, but his football career is far from over. We'll meet our athlete of the week next.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.